We're going to take a look at a solo insider cabin on Virgin Voyages Scarlet Lady on today's episode of Cruising with Eric. Hello, cruisers. It's your friend Eric coming to you once again from my home here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And last week I took my first cruise on Virgin Voyages. I was on the Scarlet Lady for a quick 4-dayer out of Miami. On that cruise, I stayed in what they call a solo insider cabin. Now, they do have solo ocean view cabins, but I was in a solo insider. I also think that's probably the best chance to get an apples to apples comparison to the studio cabins on NCL. If you go on my channel, you'll see that I recently posted a studio cabin tour of the new studios on the Prima class ships, so please go and take a look at that. But today we're going to talk about the solo cabin on Virgin Voyages. Here we are on the Virgin Scarlet Lady, and we're going to take a look at my cabin, which is cabin 13264M. M for middle. 13264. Let's take a look. So once again, this is cabin 13264M. This is the forward end of the ship, I believe. And this is a solo inside cabin. And I have done a lot of staying in the studio cabins on Norwegian, so I will kind of compare it to that. So here's the bed. At first glance, it seems kind of short, but I think that's just because of all the pillows. I think that'll be okay. There's the TV, good sized TV. Here's a little desk with a little stool. Get my bag out of the way. I got some water, glasses of water. There's a refrigerator in this room. Studios on NCL do not have refrigerators, so that's a plus. This is space for hanging gear. This is a place for stackable gear. Life vest, some drawers, safe. And we have, this is the bathroom, so I'd say it's definitely comparable to, I think it's definitely comparable to an NCL studio. Something else that's different about Virgin is they have this tablet which kind of runs everything in your room. So it says play that safety video. So I'm going to put it right here. And the TV comes on and plays the safety video. So the safety video is a musical. Alrighty then. As you can see, it's bigger than the studio cabin on NCL. The studios in NCL, I think, are advertised right at 95 square feet, whereas on Virgin, I think it's about 165, 170 square feet, which is significantly bigger, but I'm not sure they make efficient use of that space. The walkway, or the hallway, if you will, within the room, as you saw, is pretty good size. I mean, 2 people could stay in that room, whereas 2 people in the studio on NCL would be way too far cramped. You might not have enough storage space for 2 people in this room, but I think 2 people could function in this room, except having to crawl in and out of the bed, because the bed's kind of back in the corner in a hole, as you saw. Speaking of the bed is quite low, and if you're an old guy like me, it can be a little difficult to get out of the bed when it's that low. Also, even though there was a drawer underneath the bed where you could put some stuff, you don't have that big storage area underneath the bed that you typically have on cruise ships, specifically where I usually put my luggage. I had to put my luggage in the closet in that particular room underneath where the hanging gear would go. And, you know, I'm a guy, so I don't have a lot of long hanging gear, so it didn't matter to me that much. But if you have a lot of long hanging gear, then having to put your luggage underneath that space might become an issue for you. As you can see, the bathroom is enclosed, whereas on the new Prima class ships on NCL, the bathroom is more open. It's just like glass between the bathroom and the regular part of the room, or the rest of the room, if you will, in the studio. So that's good that it's enclosed. But one thing I did notice is the room always felt humid. Whenever I was in that room, all surfaces felt moist, for lack of a better word. If you put a glass of water with ice in it on the counter in that room, and the desk in that room, come back a little bit later, and it was covered in what do you call it, covered in condensation, which is an indication there's a lot of humidity in the room. I don't know if that's a ventilation problem per se with all of the Virgin ships, or if it was just a problem with that room, but it did seem humid in the room. So those are my thoughts on the Solo Insider cabin on the Scarlet Lady. As you can see, it's a good size room, which is a plus. There was the humidity issue, which is a negative, and then there was the relatively minor issue of not having storage space under the bed. But otherwise, I thought it was a perfectly good inside cabin for one person on a cruise ship. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, hit that share button. It really helps me out. And until we meet again, may you avoid the Kraken and have fair winds in following seasons. This has been a production of Cruising with Eric. Please like, share, and subscribe.